Hi there, my name's Adam.
And my name is Claire. Thank you for joining us for the Camp Med Wellness Break Combating Burnout section. So we're excited to bring this activity to you, and today we will be doing an introduction and reflection on burnout.
Right, so before we begin, we just want to make a bit of a land acknowledgement statement. So the Northern Ontario School of Medicine respectfully acknowledges that the entirety of the school's wider campus of Northern Ontario is on the homelands of First Nation and Métis peoples. The medical school buildings at Laurentian University and Lakehead University are located on the territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, specifically Atikameksheng and Wanapitei First Nations and Fort William First Nation.
Okay, so next I want to go into a bit of a definition so that we're all on the same page moving forward. So burnout, by our definition of it, is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It typically occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. And we wanted to bring this up, especially during the wellness break activities, because as students in student life, you can really get burnt out if you're doing too many things at once. So we're going to talk today about how you recognize it and how, in future videos, how to deal with and reduce burnout.
Okay, so yeah, it's particularly important that we bring it up for you guys right now because you're currently high school students and going into probably be professional students, whether that's college, university, future med school, pharmacy, whatever you choose to do. You probably got some learning ahead of you. So students can especially be at risk for burnout while studying excessively, anxiously preparing for exams, managing course assignments and course attendance, all while juggling life. I'm sure you guys know how that is already. Yeah, and I'm sure it'll just continue in whatever schooling you choose to pursue. Burnout in school happens when students face ongoing stress or frustration with no time to relax or recharge their bodies and minds. So stress in of itself is not a bad thing. Sometimes it can even increase performance, but it's really not good when it becomes so much that you burn out. That's when your performance decreases and your mental health and physical health might take a dive as well.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about some symptoms of academic burnout. So the symptoms that we're going to talk about today, they're manifested in much more than just tiredness and feeling like you can't attend another class. Burnout can cause real psychosomatic problems such as headaches, insomnia, and depression, which is why it is important to start taking steps to reverse burnout as soon as you recognize the symptoms. So breaking apart the words psychosomatic, psycho meaning psychological, mental health, and somatic could be like we're talking about the headaches, which would be like a real perception, you're perceiving that pain. So there are two parts of it, and it's important that we recognize both types.
Yeah, a little bit more about the reflection on burnout. So some common ways that you know if you have academic burnout and are in serious need of some recovery time. So if you're lacking motivation to attend classes or start assignments, if you find that you're lashing out at others or have increased irritability due to some frustration, if you're lacking inspiration and creativity to bring the projects and class discussions that's normally there, if you have a loss of confidence in academic abilities or an incapability to meet important deadlines, those are all some pretty serious symptoms, some common signs that you know that it might be time to take a little break, take a look at reducing some burnout.
Right, so now we're about to talk about prevention, which is really key here. So the first one is to make time for enjoyable activities. They could be different between us. So maybe some people like to go outside and doing those kind of activities. Some people might prefer to do like weightlifting or even just enjoyable activities like joining a club with friends. So they could all be different as long as you are enjoying that time spent on it. Make sure to get plenty of physical exercise, like I kind of touched on in point number one there. Exercising the mind and body, not only is it really good and beneficial, like we talk about in future videos in the wellness break section, but also it does tire you out, so that could help with your insomnia symptoms. By using your mind and body, especially in physical exercise, it helps later on for sleepiness and being able to effectively go to sleep at night. Number three, develop good relationships with professors. This is key, especially attending office hours, having that personal connection with them where they can recognize you maybe out of a class of 800 or 400 where you're getting the really big numbers. That way, not only are you able to more comfortably ask them questions, maybe in the classroom setting or an office hour setting, but also if you do have panic or a crisis, or like Adam said, even just life happens, and maybe you need a little bit of an extension on that English paper, they're there to help you out. At the end of the day, professors generally just want to see you do well, and they'll do what they can to help that. Number 4, set reasonable goals for yourself. So I know that in high school, they really touch on this, or even in university or other courses you may have taken, the SMART goal system. And we do actually have a session on setting goals in the Wellness Break series, so I'm going to leave that to them. And our number 5 is to avoid procrastination. This is something that we are all guilty of. There's like the Netflix people, there's the social media people, or even if you're really involved in activities and clubs and you just don't make time for maybe the studying that you should. So we're all guilty of it. Don't think that you're the only one, but do take steps to ensure that you do get done what needs to be done. I know that for myself, I really like having either like a memo sheet or a calendar or even just a notepad in the morning. I write down my intentions for the day, what I need to get done. And I know that for myself, it's a really good, satisfactory feeling when I can scratch something off, meaning that I've done that and I can move forward with my list to make sure I get everything done.
Right. So kind of leading off of that, getting better at time management in general, is going to help you throughout your university academic careers and life in general. But it can be particularly useful for preventing burnout, because you can have more time to relax and take care of yourself if you finish your assignments or whatever you have to do more efficiently. Recognize that sometimes you need to take some steps back when you need to. So yeah, if you're like one of those crazy involved people and you're in 4 clubs and you're taking 6 classes and you want to be captain of your team as well, you might want to recognize that sometimes you can't do everything. So you're taking some steps back, maybe not saying that you're not going to be involved, but maybe, not being captain of your team or taking just like the 5 classes instead of 6. Maybe, taking care of yourself first. Also, yeah, going hand in hand with this is balancing your work-life routine. So everybody needs some form of a work-life balance. It's different for some people than others, but we all have to get some work done, but we also all have to take care of ourselves. So our number 1 priority should always be our health, but number 2 can be getting work done if that's what matters to you. Number 9 is listening to music that inspires you, and number 10 is meditation to relax and pause the mind. Both of these are topics that we're going to hit on later in this kind of series of presentations. So we're going to leave those for now, but yeah, just know that they are also effective ways in preventing burnout.
Okay, so here's a little reflection on burnout. So Adam and I have created the ABCs of burnout, just a quick little checklist and some definitions here so that you can recognize those burnout symptoms in yourself. So A is for awareness. It's important to be aware of potential stressful situations and to self-check for signs of burnout. This is all vital to the prevention process. Being aware that, like Adam said, you being part of 4 clubs, maybe you don't have to be the president of all 4 clubs. Or if you recognize that there's a very busy week coming up, maybe you're thinking, okay, so here's my study time. Maybe I'll squeeze in a club activity here and there, but I can't attend all of them. B is for balance, schedule time to exercise, meditate, or do a fun hobby. Also look after your general health, making sure that you're having a balanced diet, good sleep schedule, and good hygiene. So we talk about general health in this wellness break session, but also especially the balanced diet in our nutrition session, and we do have a sleep hygiene session as well. So those are great resources to look for those. And C is for connections, focus on social connections that help facilitate the process and dissolution of burnout. So of course, this is really great that you're in high school right now, you might be living with family or loved ones or a guardian. So those social connections with your family, your friends, your high school teachers are all great. This could also go back to our 10 bullet points and having those good connections with professors that are there to help you out when you need them. So connections are vital in the process.
Right. I think we have a few more slides here. Right, so a little bit more specific into the ABC check. We have some specific questions you can ask yourself to double check. So for A, we have are there situations that I may encounter that put me at a higher risk for burnout? Is this week particularly busy? Am I putting myself at risk for burnout? Am I experiencing withdrawal, fatigue, short-temperedness, impatience, frustration, or aches and pains? So some of these are physical, like the withdrawal, fatigue, short-temperedness, impatience, those kind of might be some physical symptoms that you can see in yourself. There are some other things too here where, is this week particularly busy? That might be a great time to focus on, grab a schedule and check, okay, do I have 2 exams this week? Is there a big sports tournament coming? How many things are happening this week compared to other weeks? Is this particularly stressful for me? Do I need to maybe check in and take some steps to prevent that burnout? So for B, as far as balance goes, this is a lot more of your things that you can do to help yourself. So are you getting enough sleep? Am I eating well? Have I skipped meals or eating more junk food? Do I feel as though I have enough time to do the things that I enjoy? So making sure that we still have a good balance, good sleep hygiene, good diet, good kind of work-life balance like we were mentioning before. That's what we kind of want to hit on with this one. And C, with connections, are we still engaged in conversations? Do I feel heard? When was the last time I spoke to my support system, whether this is friends, family, a therapist, supervisor, whatever your support system might be? Or do you feel that you're withholding something from people? So if the answer to any of these questions is yes or no, sorry. So if you're not feeling engaged in conversations, you don't feel heard, or you haven't spoken to your support system in a long time, or you do feel like you're withholding something from people, it's likely that your connections might need a little bit of work. Maybe you can schedule some time for that this week and yeah, help prevent some burnout in the future or potentially right now.
Okay, so we've also created a timeline here for you to check in with yourself. So this is a reflection-based question timeline of events and when to check in with your feelings and your emotions. So like Adam was touching on a lot in the last few slides, preparation before stressful events, awareness of the event. Maybe it's an event that would be more triggering for you or you have a social connection to. So make sure that you're taking time to address that before you attend the event and to recognize within yourself that it could be adding potential stress. Then of course, if you do decide to attend the event, then you go to the event. You may enjoy it, like I said before, maybe it's a social justice event or it is potentially triggering. So make sure that if you do have an attendance of the event and you have decided to go, that is a big step in our timeline and to make sure that we check in with ourselves both before and after. So after the event, we want to do our self-check and reflection. So this is a great time to go over the questions Adam just posed. And if, like he was saying, if you answered like no or yes to them, you want to check in to make sure that you have that balance between the different ABC components that we had there. And then if you deem that is necessary or you're really struggling, I know that a lot of people switching from potentially a high school setting to university or college setting can be stressful. And if you're having a really difficult time with this, then it could be time to obtain professional help. So there are a lot of resources available to you, and it is specific potentially to your institution, your educational institution of choice. So check out websites, and we have included a list, hopefully gets to you, of resources that are available in the north, but definitely look into it, and there's no shame. If you need professional help, make sure to get that. So that is the end of our introduction to reflection and our reflection-based question session. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you in at least 2 more videos in this Wellness Break series. So do you have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Okay, well, we will see you throughout Camp Med. We hope that you enjoyed this session, and we'll see you later.
Okay, right on.